whenever I'm reading a book, I'm always looking out for what I call the defining points of the book. And I think I found it in your book. I found it in page 111. I'll read. The adoption of different systems of administration in the North and South was not of itself problematic, since the people of each territory were secure in their own space. The problem which has plagued Nigerians, even up to the present, was the appointment of Lugard in 1912 to unite the two territories in pursuit of the ideal of one Nigeria. A British policy objective born of two calculations, one short term, the other long term. And then he went on to explain the short term and the long term and all that. Is this the defining point in your book?
You're a genius. In the 328 pages, you really managed to put your finger at the critical missed road. I mean, there were several missed roads, but that one is really the core of the matter. That it was at the point of the amalgamation where a decision had to be made, as I said, which operating system should the new Nigeria run with, the fused Nigeria run with. It could have been like peas in a pod, right next to each other, like twins, but each has its own identity. And you have a federal structure that embraces that, allowing each to continue to run with its own operating system. The fusion, there laid the problem. And in particular, as I said, fusion itself was not was not in itself problematic. It was a choice of Lugard. It was a choice of Lugard. Egerton, we would not have the crisis that we have now.
Place today's Nigeria within the context of our history that you have explained in this book. Today's Nigeria, with all the problems and the ethnic and tribal issues, you know, and all the economic challenges, political challenges. Now, place today's Nigeria within that context.
What I'm saying is this: a country that is made up of, as the book discloses, 371 ethnic groups, has 371 ancient nations who were coexisting in the same geographical space. To be fused, starting from what Lugard did in 14, to be fused into one Nigeria. You could see that that one Nigeria agenda, Lugard agenda, is still at play. Hence the conflict and the crisis. Why does that lead to conflict and crisis? It is this. We have been led to believe that the choice is either or, Nigeria or Yoruba, Nigeria or Hausa, Nigeria or Igbo, rather than Nigeria and Yoruba, Nigeria and Igbo, Nigeria and Ijaw, Nigeria and Hausa. Just as the British themselves, they have Britain, the shared identity, but they're British and Welsh, British and Scottish, British and English, British and Irish, rather than one or the other. Nigerians don't want one or the other, but they want both. And the reason it makes sense when you have this diversity is this. You have the choice between the orange. When you peel the skin of the orange, you know the orange, you look at the orange and it's a hole. That hole is Nigeria. Peel the skin and you see how the segments of the orange sit side by side to make the whole. That is how we should manage our ethnicities. Each ethnic group comfortable sitting right next to the other, but with the Nigerian skin enveloping all, such that the outside world sees the Nigeria. if you like, the one Nigeria. But within that one Nigeria, we're paying recognition to the reality of our difference. What the political class have been trying to do is not to pursue the orange in terms of unity and wholeness and oneness. They're pursuing the apple. You know, the apple similarly has a skin that wraps the whole. And what you find when you peel the apple, it is all mashed. So they're trying to mash the 371 into the apple, rather than allowing the 371 to coexist within the same skin, the same Nigeria skin as an orange. One leads to conflict, which is what we're seeing now in Plateau and all those places. Every day we keep opening the newspapers, listening to the news, this conflict, that conflict. That is because the one Nigeria agenda that the Lugardis, the modern day Lugardis are pursuing is the one Nigeria of the apple rather than the one Nigeria of the orange, in which the ethnic groups will peacefully coexist, just like civilized countries across the world.
Okay, so who are these guys? Who is this?
That is El Kanemi of the Kanuri peoples.
Oh, El Kanemi, the famous El Kanemi. And who is this?
That represents Uthman Danfodio.
There's not much of his pictures around.
It's a very rare thing to get hold of a picture of the great man.
And him too, El Kanemi.
Similarly, it's very few books have pictures of him.
And I mean, this is more familiar.
He's more familiar. That's Ajayi Crowther.
Ajayi Crowther.
Yes.
Okay.
They all represent the religious phase
Okay.
of the creation of Nigeria.
Okay.
So you have Uthman Danfodio coming from the northeast, from the northwest. You have El Kanemi, Islam in Kanuri land, because that had a different origin, a different source. And then you have Ajayi Crowther representing Christianity coming from the south up to the middle.
Okay. And of course, this is Lugard.
Yes, that is Lugard himself.
Who is this?
That is Goldie, George Goldie, who is really the architect of Nigeria.
People call him the father of Nigeria, even though you say fatherless.
Yes, indeed. He truly is the one. If anybody is to be referred to as the father of Nigeria, he is the architect that's cleared the ground in terms of the political fathers that we had for each of those 371 ethnic groups. He is the one who signed the treaties, so-called treaties of protection, by which they surrendered their sovereignty to Britain. So that was the architect of Nigeria. And Nigeria could have been named after him. Apparently, he did not like publicity, otherwise Nigeria could have been called Goldie Land. Goldie Land.
Goldie Republic or something.
Indeed.
And there was a bit of was there rivalry?
Yes, indeed.
Goldie and Lugard?
Indeed, because Lugard was a subordinate to Goldie in the Royal Niger Company. And then there came a point when they wanted to effect or put Nigeria in place at 1900. And for some reason, the Colonial Office took the decision that they were going to run with Lugard rather than with Goldie. And there was another dimension to their rivalry, because Lugard's wife, Flora Shaw, who is the one who gave us the name Nigeria, Niger area, Flora Shaw, who was Lugard's wife, she was actually, before becoming Lugard's wife, she was Goldie's girlfriend, or she was Goldie's girlfriend. When Goldie's wife died, my understanding is that Flora Shaw proposed marriage. Can you imagine a woman proposing marriage to the guy? She proposed marriage to Goldie, he rebuffed her, and after that rebuff is when she swung her affections towards Lugard. And then because she was the colonial editor of the highly influential Times newspaper, so she could actually big up and really give Lugard the platform that he wanted. And so Lugard really wanted to be like Rhodes of Rhodesia. He loved publicity, he loves the attention, in contrast to Goldie. So the book introduces and brings out that interesting dynamics and personal conflicts, even amongst the colonials themselves.
And who is this?
And that's James Robertson, who he's the one who, I should say, orchestrated the independence elections. He was the last British colonial governor. He was the one who handed over when Azikiwe became the Governor General of Nigeria at independence. He took the baton from Robertson, who was the last British Governor General of Nigeria.
And of course,
and then we have our very own at the bottom, IBB, Obasanjo, and Abacha himself.
Yeah, these pictures were sketched by, they were sketched, of course.
Yes, the artists, we wanted to create really a synopsis of the Nigeria story on the cover. And so you have that religious phase at the top, which is the foundation of Nigeria. And then you have the British colonial, again, laying the, putting the infrastructure in place, the pillars and the upper floors. And then the decoration, if you like, came from the local decoration, came from our military boys, who are the free, at the time I finished writing the book, who I considered had the biggest impact on the Nigeria that we have now, who are responsible for where we are, is those three in particular.
Fascinating story. Thank you very much. It's been great having this chat.
It's my pleasure, Kunle.
Thank you. Keep writing.
Thanks so much.